my brother, your brother, Tariq Nasheed. Peace and black power to you, brother. What's happening, Tariq?
Black power to my brother SaNeter. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm good, brother. I'm glad you took a little bit of time out of your busy day to just come and sit with me for a little while. You know, and first thing I want to deal with is I don't need to introduce yourself. You don't need no introduction. People know who you are. I want to talk about what you got going on first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got an event coming up somewhere in Texas, I think.
Yeah, on May 27th, we're having the FBA Expo, where we're going to have a lot of businesses coming all from around the country, showing off their products and their services. We're going to have different workshops, education workshops, health workshops, real estate workshops, just building with the community, man. It's going to be a wonderful event in Dallas. That's Memorial Day weekend. You can get more information, family, at FBAexpo.com. Also, we have the Hidden History Museum. We're having a big grand opening out here in LA on February 25th. And on the 27th, that's when the general opening will be. Everybody from the public can come on down. And on the 27th, also, my new movie, American Maroon, is coming out. So that's a good one. It's going to be available on our streaming site, FBAstream.com. So I got a whole bunch of stuff on
brother,
side.
I'm definitely going to be out there for the museum opening. I got to come show support for my brother. I'm going to be there, man. As far as the FBA, how is the reparation process going for you right now?
It's going, man. We're out here still campaigning heavy, especially here in California. There's different reparation task force out here, and a lot of people are going to the reparations hearings. We're staying on everybody's neck, keeping the conversation about reparations alive. Out here in California, there's a serious push for it because it's being documented, and we're trying to really get it through legislation out here. And what goes in California goes throughout the whole nation. So all eyes are on California as far as the reparations movement. As you know, in DC, November 5th, we had a huge reparations rally out there, letting the world know we want tangible benefits for our community if we are to vote. So we're staying on that beat. We're going to keep beating that drum and let people know that reparations is not something that they're going to try to wear us down with when we stop talking about it. We have to get something specific for us because they're using our tax dollars to fund all of these foreigners and all of these other entities. And we have so many black people here that's suffering. So we got to get the tangibles that we deserve.
Beautiful. One thing about you, brother, if y'all haven't been to a Tariq Nasheed function or summit, y'all don't know what y'all missing. Make sure you make something. Make sure you be there for one of them. Do you have lobbyists in place for lobbying politicians and stuff like that?
Well, we're starting to put, and there's some politicians now, like Nina Turner and other people, they're talking about reparations now. So we just have to get more people being serious about the conversation. Again, we have Gavin Newsom out here talking about it. We're trying to put our own politicians into certain positions, like our good brother Marcel Dixon out of South Carolina. So we're trying to cultivate our own grassroots politicians and get them in a position to kind of toe that line. So we're working hard at it. So it's coming.
Yes, I want to go through with these questions because I know we ain't got that much time. You're a busy brother. You always doing the work, man. I love you for that. Appreciate your work, brother. And it shows you are definitely a legend. You know, you are a legend. America owes reparations to FBA, but without political parties support, what other options do we have?
Well, we have to beat that drum. Let me tell you something. Right now, in places like Chicago, even out here in other places, they have a bunch of homeless foreigners, not homeless, but they have a bunch of foreigners that they're giving sanctuary to. They're giving them sanctuary in schools, and then they're giving them tax dollars, and they're giving them resources to survive. They're giving them access to free driver's licenses without having background checks. And a lot of this stuff, especially the housing of these immigrant groups, that's not going through the political process and all of this legislation. They're just saying, hey, we got housing for them, put them in these houses. So you don't have to do all of this stuff for these other groups. But with us, they tell us we have to jump through all of these hoops. They need to do what they're supposed to do. We have a lot of black people here who are suffering, who are struggling, black people who are homeless, black people who have been devastated by anti-black systematic policies. So they need to do the right thing and make sure we get the tangibles we need. And it's up to us to keep the fire on them. It's really up to us to do it.
Is white supremacy winning right now? And how do we combat this in an integrated setting? How do we combat this in an integrated setting?
Yeah, well, white supremacy is on top because we're still in the global system of white supremacy. Now we have to ask questions, like our brother Neely Fuller said. When you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. Why is white supremacy winning? What makes the white supremacists win? Some people say, well, it's the military. Well, that's part of it, but there's militaries in Black nations and non-white nations, and those militaries can be destroyed. What they have that we don't have, the white supremacists have a code. They have a code of conduct. When they get around people who are non-white, they have decided to conduct themselves in a way that will disenfranchise, for the most part, collectively, the non-white people and enfranchise and empower the people who are classified as white. And they enact this code in every facet of their lives. We don't have a code as Black people. You get 10 white supremacists in a room, those 10 white supremacists are going to be on the same page. You get 100 Negroes in a room, and all 100 will be on some other bullshit. They're going to be like arguing about whose religion is right, whose frat group is right. Are they a sovereign citizen? They're going to be arguing about everything. Well, what's your sexuality? There's no code. We got to get a code of conduct within Black society, meaning that when we get around those in the dominant society, we're going to conduct ourselves in a way that will not disempower ourselves as a group. And we won't do things that's going to jeopardize the group just for some personal benefits that one person may get.
Beautiful. Do you support separation from Europeans? And is it really time for that right now? Or is it realistic in 2023?
And that's a very valid question. A lot of people have asked that question. And the answer is, where are we going to separate to? The white supremacists, as Neely Fuller says, they control the known universe. We can't even go to the moon. The white supremacists control the moon. The white supremacists control Mars. If we figured out a way to go to Mars, the white supremacists are already there. They control the world and the known universe. So we have to deal with the problem of white supremacy head on. There's no separation because they've dominated all of the known universe. So we got to deal with them head on. And we have to replace that system of white supremacy with a system of justice. And it's up to us to do that.
The FBA versus Black immigrants. What's that about? I heard you talking to something like that before, where you're letting the Black immigrants know that the FBA is strictly for the Black people here in America. Talk to us a little bit about that, because some people might say, well, you know what? They Black too. Why are you trying to cut them out of what's going on with the FBA?
Right. And it's not even a versus. We're just talking about a lineage. FBA just means lineage. We have designated our own lineage because, look, all these other groups, they have names for us as foundational Black Americans, and usually it's derogatory. Like a lot of immigrant groups, they know how to look out for their group and other us. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of very negative names about us. Kata, Javier, all of these different names. And we're saying we're designating ourselves. We are our own cultural group, and we are foundational Black Americans, meaning that we come from the lineage of the people who built this country, the non-immigrant groups. Foundational Black Americans, we don't come from immigrant backgrounds. We're the only non-immigrant group here, really. And that's not a versus, that's just lineage. So when we talk about getting reparations for foundational Black Americans, that's a very valid claim because we were the ones who were enslaved here. We were the ones who built the country here. And we were the ones who were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. So when we talk about getting reparations for us, we have to make it lineage specific, because if we open up the door for just Black people, then Rachel Dolezal can get reparations. And then if we open it up just for race, they're going to say, well, damn, Mexicans and Hispanics, they were disenfranchised too, so let's give them something. Well, Iranians were disenfranchised, let's give them something. So that muddies the waters. That turns it into another affirmative action program, which affirmative action was supposed to be for Black people. Then they start saying, hey, let's make it for minorities. Now everybody and their mama get affirmative action benefits except Black people. So we're cleaning all of that up and making it very lineage specific. When we talk about foundational Black Americans, all we're talking about is a lineage. We're talking about no group, no organization, no frat, nothing. We're talking about a lineage.
Right. In terms of the voting system, because our people are confused. Some people say we need to vote. Some people say we don't. Are you a Republican or Democrat? And which party would you recommend our people go towards? Which is the lesser of the two evils, would you say?
Yeah, my thing is whoever's giving benefits to foundational Black Americans and then Black people in general, that's who I'm going to roll with. I'm not married to any party, neither should we be. So white people they'll sit up and talk about being a Democrat. They'll turn around the next year and be Republican all day. They switch parties like they switch clothes. Black people are supposed to be these people who stick with the Democrats no matter what, vote blue no matter who. I'm not with that bullshit because the Democrats, their racism is just as worse as the Republicans' racism. So I'm not married to any party. Whoever's bringing the tangibles, that's who I'm going to go with.
Okay. What are your two ultimate goals for the FBA?
Well, for foundational Black Americans, number one, I want us to get the tangible reparations. That's number one on the list. We have to get our reparations. And also, we have to start building up our own communities like we did back in the day. And we have to understand our communities were disenfranchised because the FBI and the CIA and all these people deliberately undermined our community. So when we start building our communities back, we have to keep our eye on the ball and protect those communities from the ops and the infiltrators that the white supremacists are going to send down to us.
Did this happen 2 years ago when the SWAT raided your house? Was that 2 years ago?
Oh, I don't remember. It was a few years ago. It was a few.
So I want to ask you: do you think they might have or could have planted some device cameras in your house or some recording or anything just to see what's going on?
Well, the thing is, they could have, but let me tell you something. They can do that stuff remotely now. Listen, if you have a cell phone, your cell phone is a recording device, man. You understand?
Right.
Once you got a cell phone, they got you, dude. They can hear you. That's why if you say, "Hey Siri," your phone will turn on. You understand?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Like in your house, and people are listening through the Siri joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time I make love to my wife or something, I always unplug it. I unplug the shit.
Yeah,
because they listening.
So if you give a voice command and your phone will turn on, that means your phone is always listening, dude. So they're getting data 24 hours a day. So they already doing that. So I ain't saying nothing incriminating. I'm not doing anything. I'm just fighting for justice.
Yeah, man. When I'm making love to one of my wives, I gotta unplug that shit because they listening, brother. All right. Let me ask you. You got an event coming up. Do you think, let's talk about the trolls for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you think the trolls go a little bit too far? And what is too far for you?
Well, some trolls are just, dusty dudes who are losers just trying to get some attention and clout. We got a lot of clout chasing trolls. And then you have op trolls. You got some trolls out here who are actually ops working for them folks. We got to understand in the 1960s, the Black community, they had us loaded and bogged down with ops and agents. They were everywhere. I don't know what makes us think that disappeared. They've doubled down on that, especially online. So when you see certain people pop online and all they do is keep up havoc and nonsense under the guise of trolling, we got to understand who these people are. These people are working for them folks. And I understand it. We have to understand it is what it is. The white supremacists will do anything in order to maintain their level of supremacy. They don't want us getting together, being constructive. And notice whenever we as Black people get together, we start talking constructively, the trolls are the ones who infiltrate constructive circles, especially the conscious circles. The minute people in the so-called conscious community starts talking about building something, all of a sudden random trolls pop up, talking dumb and talking crazy, dissipating the energy. That's not a mistake. That's by design.
Yeah, my father just lost his best friend a couple of weeks ago, and I'd imagine, if he were here, he'd be discussing what's happening, in the country with his friend, my Uncle David. I think it's not just, white people having to kind of deal with this reckoning and a facing of the truth of who America is and has been. It's also immigrants. I grew up hearing, if you just work hard, if you just speak a certain way, if you just have the right degrees, if you're just kind of, distance yourself in a way from Black Americans, you'll be safe, you'll be fine. Just love everybody.
The almost 150-year-old Viareggio Carnival is one of Italy's most popular carnivals. famous for its giant allegorical and satirical floats that depict societal issues. For the first time in history, the 2021 edition was postponed due to COVID-19. This year, the COVID pandemic is one of the central themes, along with climate change and social injustice in the United States. A haunting black Statue of Liberty dressed in chains makes its way down the street, towering over crowds.